I am live. All right. Let's post some links. Okay. If you're watching this archived, thank you for sitting through 45 seconds of dead air. I am Steven, and I am here to animate a video about dinosaurs. In this case, we are doing the segment of our Ornithoscelida episode about maximum likelihood, which is a different optimality criterion from the, oh, well, there you go, from the one that we talked about last time supporting Ornithoscelida. We've been talking about parsimony for most of the previous part of the Synapisode, whereas now we're talking about likelihood. Okay, so let's... So that Sauropodomorpha plus Herrerasauridae clade doesn't seem very stable. I think I already animated this portion. Plus Herrerasauridae clade, it doesn't seem... Okay, so it's a really simple animation, but I did technically animate it. So we can start here. Hey, we picked up a viewer. Hello, one viewer. I'm fairly... Yes, today's stream will probably be somewhat short on account of I've already gone through and done almost all of the cleaned up artwork for this. At least I'm pretty sure I have. So right now we're just going to be doing a bunch of animation, or well, keyframing. The trade-off is, even though this is a short stream, it is a publicly viewable stream. So we'll explain what the difference there is at the end of this. For now, we need to... Here we're just going straight from title screen to this, so we don't need to do anything else. Yeah. Oh, I should turn on proportional grid. There it is. But we do need to, yes, do some animation here. So let's see. I've got a lot going on here. We've got ML branches and MP branches. Instead of counting steps between taxa, we calculate the probability of evolving between them. I don't like the way I inflected that sentence, but I don't dislike it enough to re-record it at this late stage. I emphasized the wrong word, but I'm just going to have to live with that forever. What am I looking for? My instinct is to try to scale these into existence. That's probably the easiest way to do this, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Maximum likelihood, however, doesn't have to pop up until now, so we're going to start it there with Alt open bracket. Set a keyframe. Set a keyframe. Set a keyframe. Shift F9. F9, and we're going to say that this one needs to be a little smaller, so like 118, let's say. Previous keyframe, select them, F9. We're going to make this one a little bigger, so let's say 133. That's better. And then we go back here, and we're going to say... So the trick to this is, I need it, since this doesn't exist on the previous frame, there needs to be less difference between nothing and this frame than there is between this frame and the following frame, and we've got that going on, so we're good. And then since well, let me actually watch it at speed, and let me mute the audio so that we don't have to hear that over and over and over again. There we go. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Then we just select this, and we select that and don't accidentally deselect it and move it to the start. Okay, then we need to I think we will parent each of these to their, yeah, oh, bad. Oh, that's interesting. I expression linked this property to itself. I didn't know you could do that. I don't know why you'd need to do that, but you can. No, bad, Stephen. We need parsimony parented to parsimony, and we need likelihood parented to likelihood. Anthony's Tesla Arc says hello. Hello, Anthony's Tesla Arcs. All right, so then we just need to, I just tried to preview audio, even though I muted it. Instead of counting steps between. Yeah, okay. Next we need to just have these. It looks like I scale them as well. Do I not? Null 1. What layer is null 1? 73. Okay. There it is. Instead of counting. What? Hang on. Oh, I think I know what I did. Yeah, I forgot to preserve their previous position value. That's all right. And it occurs to me that I don't need to parent those to that since I already have a null. I should be able to just say, hey, go to layer 73. Joachim 1400 says hello. Hello. Trees instead of counting steps. Whoa, what happened? Instead of counting steps. Okay, I guess we do have to parent them to those. Let's just go ahead and do that then. I'm just going to do them both to max parsimony because it looks like these move at the same time. Instead of counting steps between taxa, we calculate the problem. Okay. And then we'll just say that this needs to stop here instead of start there, and similar story with our null. Cool. Instead of counting steps between taxa, we calculate the probability of evolving between them. I hate how I said that. All right. So we need to, I think we're on this picture for a little bit. We are. Okay. So all we got to do is probably just slide. We're going to slide off to screen left. That's the easiest way to do this. Let's see. These are parented to layer 36. Let's see what else is child of that. Select children. It just, okay. Oh, I wonder if you have, I guess it just doesn't have any children. Okay, well, what? So traditionally when I set up a picture like this, I'll have them all parented to some master layer. But I'm looking at this and it looks like I didn't do that at all. This one's parented to 33. Well, let's just try moving the maximum likelihood tree and, oh good, okay. Okay, I wasn't completely dumb. So if we just tell both of these to be parented to no one, no, we don't want to do that yet. First we need to move it. You're right, all right. Man, there's a lot of layers in this comp, okay. Go. Actually, we don't even need a keyframe. Oh, that was dumb. I removed the all animation from that property, which is not what I wanted to do. All right. Then we say this and this are both parented to null one. And in theory, right, because I haven't keyframed it yet. So Shift F9 to ease into that keyframe, Control Shift F9 to ease out of that keyframe. Set our work area, and we also need to, oh, come back. And we also need to extend these layers as well as anything else that's on screen. So all of this and all of this all needs to end at this frame. And then we ram preview. Oh, Joachim 1400 asks, have you ever counted how many dinosaurs you can name off the top of your head? And Pi, uniquely nerdy, offers keyframes. There we go. To answer your question, I have not. I remember, what were we doing? At band camp in high school, I had a roommate and he was having trouble sleeping. So I named every dinosaur that I could think of and that put him to sleep. But I didn't count at the time. Yeah, I think what we're going to do to transition between these is take these ladders. Wait. Okay, I'm going to hide something here. Are the brackets just part of it? They are. Okay, that makes it slightly harder. Not impossible, just slightly harder. Did I group them individually? Was I smart? I did group them individually, and I was smart, kind of. All right. how do we do this? We need to, what I want to do is have the individual brackets scale down and then scale back up, and they're going to switch between being a DNA ladder to being a series of a matrix of physiological characters or morphological characters. Carrie Seymour is here and offers that a friend and her tried to do an A to Z of dinosaurs, one for each letter, but her friend also got sleepy. Apparently Pi Uniquely Nerdy has had a similar experience as well. Let's see here. So the way that I'm going to have to do that, there's two ways that I could approach this. I could just copy this to its own layer. You know what? That's going to be way easier. I'm going to do that. So we're going to say new shape layer. I'm going to copy group 1. And we're going to call that because I'm pretty sure that's the top bracket. Yep. All right, we're going to copy group 2, new shape layer. Call that bracket mid. Cool. New shape layer. Bracket bottom. Alcorin is here. Woo, I'm early. Hello, everyone. Hello. Contents. Okay, then we can set our anchor points appropriately, which means we need the pan behind tool. Why? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do, actually this one's pretty good, but we're going to move it a little bit to the side. Cool. And we're going to move this one over to here. And all this does is make it so that we can, it's doing that thing where it doesn't let go of it right away. All this does is make it so that we can transform it from the middle. Okay, so then we will parent all of these to ML tree. We will tell them start at the same point that ML tree starts. And we also need to parent our ladders. Yes. Oh, no, that's bad. Bad, Steven. I'm going to reorder my layers so that they make sense. All right, so these are going to be parented to bracket top. These are going to be parented to bracket bottom. And these are going to be parented to bracket mid. All right, and then we're going to do the same thing with morphological data. So we're going to cool. Top, bracket mid, bracket bottom. Okay, now we can, wait. Yeah, we're good. Now we can do the thing that I wanted to do in the first place, which is why we had to go through all this rigmarole. So we're going to say scale. Zoop. We don't want to use that keyframe. Joachim1400 asks, how does your brain not melt when looking at all those layers? I don't know how my computer is displaying them, which is probably why I'm having so much input lag on this timeline. But it helps that I have a basic sort of organization to them, that if stuff happens at about the same time, they're in a group. So like the proper way to compose this would be to have this entire group right here be a composition and just sequence the compositions. I didn't do that because of reasons. Like, if I wasn't the only person working on this, this would be a terribly set up After Effects project. But fortunately, I am the, well, perhaps unfortunately, I am the only person working on this. So I don't have to worry. It's like, my filing system makes sense to me, and that's all that matters. I also don't comment my own code, so I probably should start doing that as well. Wait, why am I doing this individually? I don't need to do this individually. Nor do I need to make them that small. Nor is this the right frame to be doing that on anyway. There we go. So right now I'm doing what's called a anticipation, or wind-up. So they're just going to get a little bit bigger, and then they're going to get very small. So we're going to say 20. Thank you, AdverVex. And then they're going to balloon outwards to 110. Then they're going to shrink back, and this is called follow through or overshoot. I guess 96 would be plenty. And in theory, all this should look like is, if we set our work area, nice. Let's do that again. Cool. But we can go one better because this is After Effects and I don't have to have them all happen at the same time. I just pointed at my screen with my hand because that's definitely something that you guys can see. I'm just going to stagger these by holding Alt and using the arrow keys. Yes, I'm noticing one thing, that having that much overshoot gets kind of old. So I think what we're going to do is actually cheat. That looks a little better. It looked weird to have all three of them bounce, even though these all have the same mass, like visual weight. It looked weird to have them all bounce at exactly the same interval. Plus it kind of distracted. If this one's still bouncing, it's distracting from what this one is doing. I suppose this is all academic anyway, because it's not. It's just transitioning between two things. We don't necessarily need to put that much thought into how they move. But occupational hazard. Okay, then we need to move this over and scale it down. But do we want to? We do. I'm going to deparent this. Oh. Which is going to take a second. There we go. None. And then we're going to take our null layer, which was 73. There it is. Oh, it's not 73 anymore. It's 76 now. I'm going to say position scale. I'm going to say, oh geez. Someday I'll learn to type and my life will be easier, but today is not that day. Just scale this down a bit. Oh, we don't even have to move it. Well, maybe we do. Just like that. There we go. We're going to say this one we're just going to have slide in. So we're going to reparent it to null whatever number, 76, and yeah, at 3303 we're going to have it land. And at its endpoint, we're going to have it way off to the side. Very nice. I'm going to change my viewport to fit, which is not that much smaller, but it's small enough that I can at least see whether something is on frame or not. Shift F9. There we go. Let's check how that looks in the textured comp. That looks okay. Gonna have this one do just a little scale and rotate. So we're gonna say it'll start at 25%? 25% is too big. 18%. There we go. Need to use our pan behind tool again because we need it to scale from the center. All right. Drop it where I let go of it. Close enough. Press U to bring up our keyframe properties. Can I have this overshoot just a tad, like 102? Maybe a little more than that. That's more like it. And walk it back. So F9, Shift F9, and then here is where it hits 0 rotation. Here we're going to overshoot by like, I don't know, 12. Or no, this would be the undershoot, so we should be way less, like 4. Here's the overshoot, -12. Here we should be at 45, maybe 90. So in theory, oh, I also got to ease these. That looks good, but it feels like the... Wait, what's going on there? Why do I have an offset paths? I don't know why I did that. I don't need it. Press U, you must do it. There you go. Hey computer, you gonna play? Oh, there it is. Wait, where's the layer I was just working with? How did I do that? I accidentally, at some point I must have accidentally pressed, what is it, Control Shift close bracket? Or, yeah, Control Shift close. How did I accidentally move it to the top of the layer stack? That's such a specific key combination to accidentally press. Whatever. What I was trying to do is speed up the initial spin there. That's better. It was kind of an extreme overshoot to have for such a minor move before. But yeah, we're pretty good there. Next. Oh. Carrie Seymour took Joachim's challenge and got to 57 definite non-avian dinosaurs before slowing down. Should we make that? Can that be a? I don't know. What's the equivalent of Vine anymore? But it could be a challenge to have people name as many non-avian dinosaurs as they can think of. Give the paleo nerds their day in the sun. I'm going to call that X so I don't lose it again. Oh, I forgot to hide these. All right, I need the audio. Is it unmuted? It is not. It's not genetics as well. Oh, I don't know when they changed this. Maybe it was always like this and I just never noticed, but if you have your work area set, it won't preview past the end of it. It's not necessarily audio preview, that is. Of course, it's not going to video preview. That's the whole point of having a work area. It's not necessarily better than maximum parsimony, but it... Okay. I was just checking to make sure that this picture starts at the beginning of the next sentence, which is exactly what I want. Okay, we need to... Ah! Something set the dog off. I'm going to... I think we're just going to slide again. I know it's boring, but it is the easiest way to do what we're trying to do here. I'm going to get our null, and I'm going to say position. I'm going to go 1 second into the future. I'm going to say position again, and we're going to subtract. I'm going to subtract 1080, which is the height of our comp, and Shift F9, Control Shift F9. And in theory, we should be able to just take all of these. Molecular, layer 55. I should just select children and then I'll know. Oh, we're good. Okay. So if I just parent this guide layer that I made to null, did I forget to animate it? No, but I forgot to change my, okay. I keep doing that, and I'm probably going to keep doing that, even though I always... What happened? That should be moving. Oh, I have two. I have two layers named molecular phylogenetics, but one of them is 04 and one of them is 05, and 04 is the one I want, apparently. Oh. I should make sure that I engage... I should make sure that I engage the parent at the frame where it's definitely in the position that I want it to be in. There we go. That's all I wanted. Okay, then we need to go to that frame and have our previous picture extend that far. What? Oh. All right, then we need to get these word bubbles to do things. What? Did this get bigger in the last second? I swear when I last looked at this, it wasn't going off screen and stuff. Huh. Let's go to this frame, and we're just going to take our parent and say, you're here now. There we go. Okay, then we need oh good, I have the pan behind tool up still. All right, we're gonna do that same slightly hacky scale thing here. I'm gonna say once again, I forgot I was doing the overshoot and not the undershoot. Or switch that around. Did I? There we go. Why won't it let me adjust? You can't adjust the anchor point of multiple layers simultaneously. That is why. All I'm trying to do is make sure that they're transforming from the arrow or the mouth pointer. Not actually sure what you call the ghosty tail of a word bubble. I'm sure there's a name. It's probably the tail. Works. Nah. Why is this up here? That shouldn't be up there. Max likelihood is parented to nothing. There's that, but why? I'm just going to remove all keyframing on this, and I will do this with the null that is downstairs right there. Save that, and we're going to say, actually we're not going to type that in, we're just going to count. There we go. Just move it a little bit this way and scale it down a little bit. I might regret doing that. Gonna actually save instead of just relying on the autosave. There we go. Shift F9, Control Shift F9. And actually we're gonna something like that. Center it on the transition point. And maximum likelihood needs to also be parented to layer 76 null 1. And we need to have his word bubble. Whoa. Okay, I guess we need to animate him as well. Pardon. Zoop. Zoop. Oh. I could have sworn I parented his word bubble to him. Okay. Go. All right, and since I know that I want this to wind up, actually, do I know that? I do, cool. Since I want this to wind up at 138.9 and this one's already at 138.9, all I gotta do is go to the endpoint and paste my scale keyframes in, and then it'll do this. Except that our endpoint is not the point where we want it to actually start animating. Easily rectified with judicious use of open brackets. Go to the out point of this layer and set these at the end of the same point, even though we're probably going to have to extend that in a second anyway. I feel like this transition should happen later. I'm going to do that. I'm not going to animate them changing their positions because we don't have that kind of time. But I can at least do this. And this, using pan behind tool, we're going to go this way. Cool. We're going to start these here, and we're going to paste that scale again. Because if it was worth animating the first time, it's worth pasting it to 3 other things. Cool. Yeah, we're good. Let's see what we've got so far. I feel like I should do something to get rid of the word bubbles that were already there. But I don't want to scale them down. That feels inappropriate. I know what I could do. Did it work? How do I tell if it worked? It didn't work. Okay, so you can't create a new mask on multiple layers at the same time. Or at least not with the Control-Shift-New key combination. All right. Which is weird because you can... What? You can bring up the mask path and edit them. Yep. That's not going to work. Man, I hope this works. It didn't work at all. Okay, we're going to do it manually. So what I tried to do there was just tell the mask that I added to the text layer to just do the same thing that the parent's mask is doing, but since there's a difference in where the anchor point is relative to the layer, that don't work, so we're gonna have to do this by looking. Go. Joking1400 asks, have you ever been in a dinosaur dig site? I have not. I was invited to one once, but the person who invited me fell off the face of the earth, as far as I can tell, before anything had been like finalized. And I have not heard from him since. I would like to go to a dinosaur dig site if it wasn't obvious from that sentence. I feel like those should evaporate after their picture turns. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Whoa. Really got to be careful about pressing shift. Or at least know your layer stack before you do. Also, I didn't extend them far enough anyway, so it was pointless. There we go. Let's see how that looks. Oh. Zoom level. Okay. Then we have new problems. Carrie Seymour offers that she likes the way the bell curve head looks a bit like a pirate hat. It does look like a bicorn. I should have just had him wearing a bicorn hat and then had this guy have hair that looks like a parsimonious solution to a variety of bushy problems. That would have been smart. Works for me. Okay, moving on. For reference, we are almost at the halfway mark of this composition, so that's cool. What? Apparently I adjusted some paths on the assistant and did not move them to where the rest of the paths on the assistant change. Zoop. There we go. The next thing is, I think we're just going to slide again. Yeah, we're going to slide again. Bad. There we go. I said bad to myself because I was doing it badly. All right, this one we're actually going to fake because I've already keyframed the position of MKV. Someday I will learn to type. Cool. And this, all of these, and these four. There we go. Cool. So my first idea for this little bit right here would be to have it, well, let's listen to the audio and you'll see what I mean. Likelihood, called MKV, the condition is that workers only recorded characters which varied between taxa struggles with. Oh, so my idea is to have it say MKV and explain each letter, but I found that one, it doesn't entirely matter for what I'm about to say in the next little bit here, and two, it drags the video down and it never comes up again anyway. So I think what I'm going to do, likelihood called MKV. Yeah, I'm just going to have M show up when I say M, K show up when I say K, and then have V show up when I say V, but then the colors come in when I say varied. I think that will be a good middle ground, hopefully. Yeah, in that case, what we need to do is have all of our text keyframeable. Then we're going to need to listen a bit, aren't we? Hey, waveforms. You press LL to bring up waveforms. Likelihood. MKV. Numpad star sets a marker. KV. V. So I mentioned this last stream, I think, but I've been getting this really annoying error in After Effects where you can hear it, that it doesn't play that first little tiny bit of the waveform, and you have to sort of guess based on how long it's cutting out. Like here, watch the playhead go by and see if it crosses the markers at the appropriate moment. Used a conditional likelihood called MKV. So I'm a little early. A conditional likelihood called MKV. There. So I was overestimating how long of a delay it was, but still, that's annoying that I can't go here and here and here in my earpiece M, even though that's when M is said. So basically, if you're going to use After Effects for lip sync, don't. I never do lip sync animation anymore, but if I did, I wouldn't want to be using After Effects. Or I would want to figure out why it's doing that and fix it. Maybe it's because I'm using MP3s to save file size. After Effects seems to be somewhat picky about what kind of audio it'll even listen to. Maybe if I were using Wave, it wouldn't have this issue. Right, so at M, we're going to have oh no, is that okay? I don't think that's okay. Are we still in text edit mode? We are not, but we didn't have the layer selected. There we go. I don't know why I always get that wrong. I consistently forget which is X and which is Y, even though it should be obvious to me. Okay, I'm completely changing my mind on how we're going to do this. We're going to have the letters there from the start, but they're going to be black, and they're going to change to the colors, and the little extra bits are going to come in. Yeah. Which means we don't need the source text, we don't need the source text, and we don't need the source text. Okay. We do need the source text here because we're going to make that M that color. Cool. After Effects does have one extremely useful keyboard shortcut. If you are editing some text, you can press numpad return, or enter, and it just gets you out of it and returns you to object level editing. And that is such a good feature that none of the other Adobe products, as far as I know, do. And they really should, because like if I'm an Illustrator or something and I'm editing text, I have to go up to the tool panel and click my selection tool to get out of it again. And it slows me down. Okay. Say, I noticed that it was drifting down, so I told it to hold that keyframe for now. Let's do yellow. Until this one. To be blue. The condition is that workers only recorded characters which varied and I'm not going to animate these, I'm just going to have them pop up. Used a conditional likelihood called MKV. The condition is that workers only recorded characters which varied. So, question, why did I not notice that this was completely off-center all this time? Struggles with. Pari et al. Used a conditional like is that workers only recorded characters which varied between taxa. Cool. Thrilling video. I recognize this, but I needed to lay a little bit of groundwork on what the hell that meant before moving on to the next bit. Oh, what happened now? Oh, everything's messed up. This is what happens when you don't set your parenting up before geez. 185.5 is 117%. So apparently that's how big this needs to be. There we go. Joachim 1400 asks, what other animated projects have I worked on? Mostly just NSI stuff. We occasionally had a team bigger than just myself working on NSI stuff, is what I was referring to. But no, all of my work outside of NSI has been solo. Oh, that's not true. I guess I worked on some stuff when I was in school where I was part of a team, but that doesn't, I wasn't getting paid for that, so I feel like that doesn't even really count. Then let's see. This and the bin both need to be parented to MKV as well, don't they? Scroll! Scroll! Why won't you scroll? Oh god, that's taking forever. Okay. There we go. Wait, why didn't I should have just parented max likelihood to the bin. That way I can do this. I'm going to sell this to fit up to 100% as well. So when I first rendered this, drew it out, it was definitely in a different place, and you can see where it was supposed to be. So I'm going to try and put it back where it belongs. But I need to make sure that I'm not going to mess it up. No, that's fine. Like, I think it was way over here. See how nicely that fits? That fits the composition a little better too. Okay. So then we should be able to just move this over here. Maybe, yeah, right here. Yeah, so all we got to do is get from this framing to this framing, which, if I did this right, is really simple. All we have to do is move that 15 frames into the future. All right. And then I'm going to do something slightly hacky, I think. Yeah, I think that's the only way I can do it. Ideally, I'd like to mask all of this, but that's going to take forever. So what I can do instead is bring in a solid, like this adjustment layer. whatever update where my playhead is. There we go. I'm just going to tell it blending mode stencil alpha. So now if I add a mask to this, do that. You're acquiring data for parsimony. Cool. And then I just have it sync up with the end of the move. Accent, which is what you do when you're acquiring data. But should I leave it? Should I make it even more pronounced? So what's happening is because I don't have the little flung specimen there parented to anything. Data. Oh, come back. Taxa, which is what you do when you're acquired. It looks like it's flying slightly, and I'm considering whether I should. I think I should not leave that because the motion doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's not at a point in its arc where it would be moving up, at least not up perpendicular to the direction that he clearly threw it over his shoulder. So as funny as that was, I'm going to remove it and parent this to MKV. Which is what you do when you're acquiring. There we go. But not having those constant characters in there would make a normal likelihood pretty inaccurate unless you have a huge number in taxa. Okay. So that was a bit to go into just to come up with, well, here's the posterior probability, I can talk, posterior probability of these taxa, but that's where we're at. I'm going to say fit up to 100%. I wonder, at the very beginning of this video, I did a slightly different setup. I don't think I wound up doing that for the other point where I used this graphic, though. Encryption support. Yeah, I didn't do it there. I should have. I suppose I could still go in and do that. What I'm considering is, see how here I've got the texture of the big color blocks behind the paper texture that I'm overlaying there. I feel like I should do that here too. Oh wow, that's actually kind of hard to see now. 1 second. Whoa, hey. Right now I'm just checking. I changed the background color fairly substantially, so I'm just making sure that there's no point in this where... Okay, we're good. We can scroll up past that. So to do this, I think all I have to do is take my... All right. My shape layer, yeah, this, and say, how do I do this? I can copy it, and I can take my likelihood textured and move it down to here. And I can paste, put it down at the bottom, actually put it above there. Oh. There we go. And I can tell it. It would help if I have the right comp open. There we go. I can tell it, hey, expression link this position to this position. Expression link this scale to this scale. And expression link this opacity to this opacity. Not really sure why I have an opacity since I don't actually change it, but I'm leaving it for now because I learned from my past self. And my past self sometimes does things for reasons that I don't understand. Oh. Wait. Oh, yeah, it would help if I hid the existing one. There we go. There we go. I'm going to lock the composition to the textured version. Joachim 1400 asks, what dinosaur do you like drawing the most? I just realized testing. Oh, no it didn't. Oh, good. I was very upset that I was getting levels this entire time on my little audio monitor. I thought the battery in my mic had died. Hey. Okay, to answer your question, the dinosaur I like drawing the most, I think, would be any avian dinosaur, because that's what I do as like a unwind at the end of the day thing. Is I have a folder of just pictures of birds that I saved from the internet, and I do almost life drawing, I guess, of just doodling birds. Not in the computer, although I guess I could, but birds are fun to draw because you almost can't tell if you did it right, so there's no pressure, because oh, hey, you drew a sparrow and it just looks like a feathery ball with some sharp bits pointing out of it. That's basically what a sparrow looks like. I guess you're good. As opposed to drawing like a human face where we are immediately aware that you messed up the eyes or whatever. So it's a more relaxing experience, at least for me. As far as non-avian dinosaurs go, I really like thyreophorans. I like any of the dinosaurs that have, not just thyreophorans, but any dinosaurs that have surface texturing that I can really play with, like Solidosaurus or Euoplocephalus or Stegosaurus, obviously. I like having, it's like you're bedazzling an animal, I suppose. Which is weird because I don't even like bedazzling normally. But that's the closest equivalent I can think of to like the process. So now that we've established that my... Carrie Seymour says, feathers are so hard to draw right. Only if you are trying to finish the drawing. I do not. I am simply doing like bird-shaped scribbles. So the feathers take the form, they basically look like fur. The feathers are not realistically rendered feathers. No, I'm not doing paleo art level detail. Paleo art level detail with feathers is indeed quite difficult, especially if you're restoring an animal like from the bones up. It's often hard to really get it to look right, having the volume that feathers represent on a creature. And I sympathize and I admire every single paleo artist who can do that, because I struggle constantly, and I'm not even doing realistic renderings. I assume that's what you're talking about. If I'm wrong, correct me. So the reason I keep scrubbing through this is because I don't actually like the motion that's going on here. I think I just set a beginning and an end point and didn't really think about it after the fact. And also, I'm not sure I want to keep the brightness of this, so I'm going to... What if I just turn down the opacity? What if I turn it down a lot more? What if I turn it down most of the way? Let's do 67. Let's do 75. Ah, that looks weird. Taxa. So Ornithischia and Ornithoscelida, given the observations they made, both have a posterior probability of 1. Dinosauria itself, 0.96. Sauropodomorpha plus Herrerasauridae has 0.66 or 0.65 when they treated certain characters as ordered. Taxa. And don't worry about that means, because we talk about ordered characters later. So at least now I understand why I have this happening so gradually and slowly. I wonder if we should... Carrie Seymour asks, do you ever draw dragons? They're a bit like drawing dinosaurs, but you have free reign to draw all the bedazzling surface textures you like, and 50% more limbs. I used to draw dragons a lot when I was in like junior high and early high school, and then I just kind of stopped. I should draw more dragons. You raise an interesting point that I could add as many weird features as I wanted. I should really get around to... I have an idea in my head, but I haven't even tried to render it. The fell beasts from Lord of the Rings. I want to try restoring them. They're usually restored as somewhere between a pterodactyl and a dragon. And once the movies came out, people started restoring them like the movie ones, because that's just a really good creature design to have this sort of snake bat. But in the book, they're described as a featherless giant bird with wings of stretched hide. And that sounds an awful lot like Yi Chi, the Scansoriopterygid. So I wonder if you could make some sort of Scansoriopterygid giant flying carrion bird. And I think that would be a really interesting restoration of that particular fantasy creature, which is not a dragon, but it's similar to enough to a dragon that I felt it was relevant to talk about here. I recognize that Scansoriopterygids were not featherless, but they also weren't, you know, horse-sized anyway, so I'm taking some liberties here. I'm pretty sure the line is, neither feather nor quill did it bear, which is, maybe it just had integumentary structures that the Rohirrim did not recognize as feathers. All right, so I'm considering whether I want to... Ability of 1. I think what I should do is keep it at this first zoom level and just go back 1 second. have a posterior probability of 1. Oh. I'm going to unlock my comp viewer because I do need to actually see this for a second. Posterior probability of 1. Yeah, okay. Then, Dinosauria itself, we'll just go... I guess we do need to scale down a little bit, but not by much. Just enough so that we can get all these on screen. Yeah, like that. Dinosauria itself. Whoa, that's a little bit of dead time. Dinosauria itself, 0.96. Sauropodomorph. There we go. Well, 0.96. Sauropodomorpha. Oh, I'm dumb. So Ornithiscia and Ornithoscelida, given the observations they made, both have a posterior probability of 1. Dinosauria itself, 0.96. Sauridae, so What? Hey! Why? My audio cut out. Self, 0.96. Sauropodomorpha plus Herrerasauridae, self, 0. Okay, that works. So the last thing we need to do is just transition to this little bit, which we are going to do, once again, with a slide. Let's see. We're done with this, so we can just bring this back up here. And I need to see, I think, yeah, this is parented to nothing, and everything else is parented to it. And so, yeah, all we got to do is take MKV and all of its children. I'm 80% sure that when you say select children, it also selects your children's children. It does! That's actually kind of a problem, isn't it? Yes. Okay, there we go. So then we go to 106. I'm going to say there. All right, and then MKV. Position. Position keyframe here as well. Control Shift F9. Shift F9. Oh, Bronson Roca is here. Hello, Stephen. I had a question from the last Q&A that he never got around to asking. He says, we mentioned moving out from the lab. Have we left the Geek Group? The Geek Group is in the process of dissolving. So this video and the YouTube channel that it will go up on are still up, but the nonprofit organization formerly known as the Geek Group, now known as the NSI, is shutting down operations. That's why we're moving to our own YouTube channel. Which was a really long way to say yes, but not for the reason, not for like a creative differences or whatever reason. I have left the Geek Group because the Geek Group is ceasing to exist. If that makes sense. All right, let's go to, so this whole time I've had exposition separate, but looks like we need to use exposition again. If I were a clever man, I would make a joke about how this whole video is exposition. Oh, yeah, okay. Try that again. There we go. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even think of that. So because all of this stuff is on a lower layer, it's not going to be drawn properly. Okay, I can fix this. We're going to take all of these and we're going to drag them up above that adjustment layer. Bronson Roca asks, why is it shutting down if you don't mind me asking? A number of things all came to a head around December, January. The short answer is we were consistently unable to secure enough funding to support our operations. Like, the YouTube channel arguably made money. Like, it didn't make enough to pay for the electricity that we probably spent, you know, turning on the lights in the studio and running the computers and such like, but it paid enough that we could, you know, have an AV staff. But very few of our other things made money. We weren't able to cover the costs of running the facility off of memberships, for instance, and what grants we were able to get were not sufficient nor consistent enough to continue doing what we were doing. If you follow Chris on Facebook, he has a rather long explanation of what happened, so that might be the next thing to look into. Also, I'm not on the board, so I'm sure there's a lot that I don't know, since it wasn't my decision. Let's see here. So now I feel like I could just parent this to MKV and call it a day, but I'm not going to do that. We're going to bring this in the old-fashioned way. Whoa. Try this again. Come on. I recognize that I could have held Shift and done that in one click, but I like to struggle sometimes. For those following at home, if you're clicking and dragging a number in After Effects, you can hold Shift to scroll it faster and to scroll it by tens, and Control to scroll it by tenths, which is useful in cases like that where I'm moving it by thousands of integers. So Ornithoscelida and Ornithoscelida. Whoa, hey, what was that? Oh, we need to move it we need to move MKV much faster, otherwise they'll overlap. That's easy. Where is it? MKV. I swear I was just looking at it. I was moving it and everything. Hey, there it is. So Ornithoscelida and Ornithoscelida. There we go. All right. So let's see what we've got. And we will probably be done with this segment. Oh, let's not do it at full resolution today. not sure why this part is so much harder to render.
Sauropodomorpha plus Herrerasauridae clade doesn't... Baron and Vinther approached the...
I'm going to mute the audio for now. There we go. Computer? See, the problem with hiding my timeline so that I can have a big ol' preview is I'm not totally sure how far along in the render it is. Oh, there is an error. Okay, we'll fix that in a second. If you're writing out a production schedule for an animation, this step is called checking. And it's usually done by somebody other than the animator, at least if you're in a studio setting where you have, you know, more than one person. Though I guess technically Liz does animation checking on the normal episodes, but she's not editing this one, so she doesn't have that step. Maybe I should just have her come in and watch it at some point. I bet you'd catch something. All right, so that's our only problem. If you didn't notice, what happened was where we transitioned those matrices. Yeah, right there. I staggered the animations, but I didn't stagger the layers. So what we need to do is make it so that when, see how this one, it transitions over at its smallest point, but the other two don't. So that's easy to fix. I just have to remember to do it. So here we go. I'm gonna have this one start here. And then we're going to have these two end here. I'm going to do the same thing right there. I'm going to have this start here and have these end there. And if we look at that.
Workers have been applying the model to more DNA sequences of the taxa. Workers have been...
Cool. All right, so that's one more sequence done. I have to render it, obviously, but the animation is done. So that's, we've got one more needs art, and three more need animation. Yeah, one more needs art, three more need animation. So we're on track. If I can finish up the art on segment number 14 tonight, then tomorrow will just be animation. And that stream, assuming I'm able to do one, and I think I will be, I'll announce when it goes up, obviously. That stream will be available for patrons only of the tier, which rewards you with the ability to see those streams. If you enjoyed this stream and want to see more of them in the future, you should consider heading over to our Patreon and joining up at that tier. Alternatively, just tune in next time we do a stream that's open to everyone. I want to thank everyone who tuned in. Tune in has now reached semantic satiation for me, and also I'm not actually sure that it means anything anymore since nobody has a dial on their computer. On that note, take care and goodbye.